have to get my street cred on. Good morning, folks, relatives, wherever you are. So this is going to be part two, kind of, to my post last night, about kind of what's going on, the lay of the land in North Dakota. I knew I was going to, there's some people that get upset, there's some people that don't get upset, whatever it may be. I'm trying to do my very best to describe as best as possible and as real as possible what's happening in the fight. And you know, there are some key things I think folks need to know about, because it kind of gives a background, or I don't know if it's a background, but just understanding the lay of the land and how complicated it is. And so if you haven't checked it out, like, check out my live stream last night. It was pretty thorough. It was pretty damn thorough about my thoughts on the whole exchange and how we should not, like, it's cool to keep tribal governments try to, you know, keep them accountable, but at the same time, it only goes so far, and we're in this fight together, and we can't fucking fall into the divide and conquer tactics of Dakota Access. I know this is fucking early to be dropping shit like this too, I know that, but I'm all awake right now. I'm woke. Right. We can't villainize Dave Archambault. I support Dave Archambault. When it comes down to it, I support Dave Archambault. I also support the grassroots. I support the people that are there for a good cause and there in prayer to stop that pipeline. I'm not going to extremes. I'm not going to this, F that, or F these people because I believe they're sellouts, all that stuff, because it just doesn't, it just fucking doesn't work. The thing about Sacred Stone Camp, there's been arrests that happened in there. To the best of my knowledge, that what the point of contention here is that some of the land is not necessarily is owned by Sacred Stone. Is actually a good part of land that's actually owned by, or the tribe has majority ownership, that a lot of the camp is on, or some of the camp is on. A lot of our non-native allies, and even our own native people, don't fully understand the complexities of the jurisdictional clusterfuck that is tribal reservations, where you have tribal land, you have non-tribal land, you have federal lands, you have all this, like, it's really, really complicated. And then even in the tribal land, sometimes it's fractionated, meaning that you have, so it once belonged to one person, and then it goes down to all their descendants, and you go 3 generations later, and there's like 40 different owners to 1 acre of land. In order to do anything, you have to get majority approval from all of them, and they may live all across the country, yada, yada, yada. Well, that's actually some of the reasoning, from what I understand, behind the tribe's argument is like, look, Sacred Stone is some of that, a good part of that camp is on tribal land. That's their argument. I'm just putting out what the argument is being said. Is the argument is like, the tribe has majority stake. 60% of that camp is on tribal land. So you should listen to, so that therefore the tribe has some stake in what happens. Sacred Stone has, and LaDonna has their own argument on that. So it's a very personal, very intertribal, like something that's happening here that's pulling in a lot of people that have no clue what's going on, and no clue the jurisdictional clusterfuck that is land assignment, land ownership, and things like that. That's that. There was an arrest that happened the other day, and I didn't choose to share because it started off, there was a domestic issue that, you know, resulted in people getting arrested. There's a video of a cop attacking a woman with a baton, I think, and that's fucked up. I mean, no matter what, it is fucked up. But the greater story, it totally left out the context of why folks were there. That's why I didn't want to share it, because I think that it started off in a different way. So the reason I'm saying this is because the tribe as it's been told to me and as I understand it, and this is not, I mean, I'm not knocking Sacred Stone Camp here. I'm trying to give you as much information of what the lay of the land is possible, and you make up your decision, and you can listen to who you want. But the tribe is stating that they have primary ownership over, title over what happens in that area. The Sacred Stone's on 60% of it may be on tribal land. So they actually do have a say in what happens to that, and a say to what happens, who's there. So be mindful of that. If you're trying to go back to Sacred Stone, be mindful that you might be stepping into something that's beyond your comprehension or beyond you may not understand. And it's up to the leadership of Sacred Stone to really address that and be upfront and honest with you all so that you don't get caught into something. And the thing with the camp, the big camp, and the absolute necessity for us to clean it up is, I can't sugarcoat that. We need to really make sure that people move out of that big camp. We need people to move out of the camps so that big camp, so we can clear out all the trash. There's mountains of just tents and supplies and trash, and folks are doing their very best to clean it up. And like I said, there's even like I mentioned yesterday, being upfront. I'm being absolutely honest here, and this is, people might not like this, is that there was alcohol usage in the camp. There was drug use in the camp. People found drug paraphernalia and stuff associated with drug use in the trash. And that's horrible. That's despicable. That shit shouldn't have happened in the first place. And so but it's not should not be the dominant story of coming out of what that camp is and what it meant, and that's what I said last night. It's the reality is that people strayed away from the intention of that camp. There was people that I think got disillusioned, and you got hit with fucking blizzards. You got all this other stuff and all the trauma from months of fucking dealing with shit from Morton County in North Dakota. I'm not excusing it, but I'm just helping us understand that we cannot just focus on the negative crap. But it really has happened. There was just trash in there. There was drug use. There was drinking. There's also a lot of fucking beautiful shit that happened as well. And it's just like I said last night, it's a microcosm of what we experience in our own communities, and that's real. What happens there is also happening in our own communities, and we're struggling to deal with that. So it just makes sense that it also manifests itself in this space as well. We're trying to build a better fucking tomorrow, but we still have to process the problems of today. Steven, I'll watch the cussing. Sorry. I'm just trying to be as upfront as possible. And then I put this out there. I was hesitant to speak on it because I know a lot of folks are very passionate, but I do support grassroots effort, and I still believe in the power of nonviolent direct action. But I'm also, we cannot abandon our critical eye when it comes down to direct action. We can't abandon our critique of actions by people that may impact everybody else and put a lot of lives, may impact people's lives on the ground. And so, with Chase Iron Eyes, I love Chase. I have a certain amount of respect for Chase and what he stands for, and I respect that understanding of always putting the idea of treaty and indigenous rights at its proper level, to understand that we are on treaty level, to continue to push that fight. And my critique is that I have that belief. I can be supportive, but at the same time, you can't abandon it. You can't just say, oh yeah, I support everything, or support how things were done. And so that's where I have a critique about what happened with the last child camp and whatever it may be. I thought it was a poor idea. I thought it was a setup, because we knew that was private land. We knew Morton County was going to come and roll in there. We let Chase know. There was some of us tried our very best to let him know that's private land, and you are moving into that. You're moving into that space. And it is what it is. And much love to our 70 some warriors who got arrested and went through some really fucking tough shit. Like, Morton County is a beast. They were putting people on, they're taking their clothes, having them stripped down to their barest amount of clothes, putting them on a bus with the windows open in -degree weather, making them sit in kennels with no clothes on, making them like they're what is happening once people get arrested is atrocious, and it needs to be called on. It needs to be brought up. And we are all back to what I was saying yesterday. I'm putting it out there, just that's where you understand the complexities of what's happening. But everyone's still there for the same purpose, which is to stop that pipeline. And I think it's the tactics that people disagree on. But if we get to the core if we get back to that core understanding about it, that we have to get back to the prayer and get back to the understanding that this is from Mother Earth. And if it's from Mother Earth, people need to move out of that main camp so we can clean it up. That's it. That's really comes down to, and I want to encourage all of the other relatives to help us out in that. I'm putting more confusion out there. I may put more confusion out there, but I'm telling you that it has to be said. I think people have to really understand that there's no, like I said last night, everyone's right in certain aspects, and a lot of us are wrong in another aspect, and we're trying to figure it out and make it happen. And I'm not in pain. I'm hanging in there. It's just I'm good. People are like, I think people read too much into my mood yesterday because it was like midnight. So it is a time for us to regroup. Yes, it is a time for us to come together. It's a time for us to really put aside our egos and really say, hey, what is the best step for this movement? Because right now there's a lot of divide and conquer going on. My shout out to Steven. How can you best help right now? Like, honestly, continue to do what you're doing. Sign the EIS. Comment on the EIS process. Send your message to the Army, Department of Army, that you support the EIS. Have them keep on doing that. Stand up and support. If they grant the easement and the tribe files for an injunction, support that. Take to the streets and just say, like, uplift the necessity for us to follow the rule of law. You have to continue to take to the street. Like, the more awareness that the more spotlight we shine on Standing Rock, the better. You can check out everydayofaction.org, I believe, which is a calendar that shows all the solidarity actions happening across the country. Check those out. Support that. Go do solidarity action to your home community. Uplift the other pipeline fights and the other infrastructure pipelines. You got freaking you have Trans-Pecos pipeline down south. You have Comanche Trail. You have Sable Trail. You have the AIM Trail out east. You have the Kinder Morgan fight that's going to be popping off. You have stop it at the source and support this. I understand that we need to keep fossil fuels in the ground, and let's change our habits, our behavior, so that we're less dependent on fossil fuels as much as possible. I know I'm in the car, and that's a part of the problem. So the demand for fossil fuels is a problem, but just as much as the supply. Like, that's essential, and that's what the pipeline fight is about, is the supply side. Yeah. The other thing is the tribe's arguments for, like, really the people's feelings on the ground for asking people to leave, have really come from a really sincere place. Like, I'm not talking about tribal leaders. I'm talking about community members, the people that are really, impacting. A lot of people are afraid because North Dakota is playing North Dakota is playing very strategic. Dakota Access and Martin County are playing very strategic by setting out that barricade and keeping it in place. Because there's a barricade on 1806, the traffic to the casino has fallen. A good majority of the tribe's money and resources come from the profits of that casino. And the longer that barricade is up, the more the tribe gets hurt and feels it. And that's people's jobs. That's people's lives. We're talking about a community that is already at the poverty or below the poverty line, and now we're putting stress on on their communities. And so that barricade needs to come down. We absolutely need to get that barricade down. And it's BS. We got so close that I don't know if we got close. Folks were trying. The headsman had basically got the governor to agree to take down that barricade, and they put it back up. So that barricade needs to come down. So if you have any, reach out to North Dakota, the mayor, the governor's office. Reach out to the Martin County sheriffs to take the barricade on 1806 down for the benefit of Standing Rock, for the good of the people, for people that have to be able to get to the hospital all right, because they have to go an extra 40 minutes to get to the hospital. And that's the argument. Like, people are asking for the barricade to come down to the benefit of the community, because the longer they keep it up, it plays against us. And it hurts it hurts Standing Rock, and it hurts the businesses of Standing Rock, and they need that for their own health. And ultimately, we got to take this fight to our own communities. That's the power. That's why people say we are all Standing Rock, and Standing Rock is all of us, and that water is life, because it resonates so much. Like, uplift your own struggles in this effort. That's what helps. Like, that's what gives us the strength, is that this movement inspires each and every one of you to step up and just start pushing back and resisting to fossil fuel development, to ongoing extraction in our lands. The governor is newly elected, yes. So I think that's all I'm going to say. I just wanted to clarify that, like, I guess I tippy-toed around some of the things around Sacred Stone Camp issues or Chase Iron Eyes, and I guess I wanted to speak more to that. And even though I support the grassroots, I guess I'm gonna give you double speak here. Is I'm not going to do a big call out for people to come to camp. I'm not telling people to come and resist in thousands and thousands. Other folks may say that. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, if you do come, let's figure out a way that you can help clean up that camp. Let's figure out a way that you can help, fix that stuff up. And I think that should an easement happen and construction begin, in a way, I feel like, honestly, the greater ruckus is if we rise up where we're at in the communities where we're coming from, and let this administration know that we stand united all across the country to protect water. Yeah. So I will talk to you guys later. I will see you guys. Peace out. And if you see any propaganda like my other videos, because I know a lot of my talking points can be cut up and edited and like fucking hashed out, like I'm like pro something, pro that, like call me or tell me about it if you see some other pieces out there with me all edited up saying I support the pipeline, go for it, or whatever it may be. Call it, because it's not true. See you guys later. Much love to each and every one of you, wherever you are. Continue to resist. We rise up together. It takes roots to weather the storm, and we are in a fucking mighty ass storm right now, and our roots go deep, and I believe in us. And we are gonna get our stuff. We are gonna move forward, and I believe in unity. I believe that we can have a united front, not only in Standing Rock, but across the country. I got faith. I believe. So, talk to you later.